All right, everybody. How are you guys doing? Welcome in to another Pixologic stream. My name is Ian. Some of you might know me as IR Sculpts, and I make toys for a living. And just real quick before we get started, can you guys let me know how the audio is? I updated to Windows 11. And I just want to make sure everything is good. I think it should be, but you never know. How we do that? I'm going to talk about you guys know, 2021 ZBrush Summit is coming, guys. Just more of a heads up. Just want you to know if you don't know, go to summit.pixologic.com because we're doing all sorts of really cool stuff, including some presentations, which is happening all weekend long. So if you guys are not too sure about what's going on with the event or you want to participate in the Sculpt-off, jump in here, but we're doing a bunch of really cool stuff, including on Sunday. I'll be there, be doing stuff. So lots of fun stuff, guys. So, all right. While everybody piles in, let me just kind of refresh on what's going on. So I have been sculpting this Demon Slayer project of mine for a while, and we're getting to the point where we're like pretty much getting ready to start doing secondary details. We got the faces locked in last week, which is looking really good. Now I want to start messing with the clothing, the box, and get a lot of this stuff kind of situated. So we have some pretty cool stuff to do, and a lot of it's going to start becoming time-consuming. So yeah, but if you guys have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Ask your question, and it doesn't really matter what project I'm doing. I will stop and answer your questions best I can, so feel free, fire away. In the meantime, let's do it! Let's go. So I'm going to start actually with the box today. And I have some reference over here. I haven't done much of anything with that box. Where is it? There it is. Here's the box design. I want to go ahead and actually start like kind of blocking out all of this stuff here. So we're going to actually take we're going to leave our placeholder. We're going to open up a new file and then basically create this box from scratch, essentially. Get some good assets put in there. It's not too crazy of a design. So we'll get this blocked in and then we'll place it on our model. I like to do that a lot. So reference is off to the side. And what we'll do is let's clear this. Let's actually put up, just so you guys can see it the way it is. Here, we'll stamp it there, and we'll stamp it a little bit bigger. Stamp it there, so we can kind of see what we're working on while we're doing it. There we go, and actually, let's go to Render, Preview AO. We'll turn on that Preview AO so we can see a little bit better. And now we're going to go ahead and get a new item in here. So let's go to our cylinder, switch color, and then let's go to make Polymesh 3D. And I'm actually going to start by opening the gizmo by hitting W. Go back. And we're actually going to go with a polycube, just like such. All right. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and clear out most of this stuff like that. There we go. And we can start manipulating this the way we want it. All right. Yeah, I'd say like that should be fine. Very cool. All right. And it looks like we got a door and some panels. So we're going to go ahead and manipulate the panels a bit. So I'm going to duplicate this. Squeeze this in here like that. Build some panels for it. We'll try to get about 3. Embed that a little bit. And instead of doing twice the work, we're going to go ahead and mirror and weld that. Turn on symmetry. And then let's bring up our Z modeler. The reason why I'm going to do this is I actually want to bevel this edge. Please delete these real quick. Let's redo that. Yeah. Let's do single edge loop and get some good edges like that. Actually, you know what? We gotta do it at the bottom too. Now you can see got a little bit of a bevel to that, which will be perfect. Then we're just gonna go ahead and copy this over. This one over. Now I'm going to set this right in the middle, and we'll stretch that to fit. This way they're embedded, but we also have like a nice little edge. We'll be putting some panels and stuff on there too. And I would say the front one is just going to be a single one. Hey, what is going on? GoRans 007, how you doing, buddy? Welcome in, welcome in. We're just building a box for our Demon Slayer project. How was your weekend? Alright. Get some topology on here. The same thing, insert multi-edge loops. Go. Beautiful. Perfect. I'm doing well, man. Doing really, really well. Sunday, just kind of a nice chill stream. Sculpting and having a good time. We just started too, so welcome in. Okay, let's get some color on this real quick. So I'm going to go to plugin, Z-color. Yeah, Sunday sculpting for sure. All right, I'm going to use Z-color because I'm able to grab color from other platforms, not just ZBrush this way. And I think I actually want this. It's more of a burgundy. Let's get this kind of brown right there. Hit set color. There we go, yeah. That might be a little bit too, go a little bit lighter. There we go. We'll just go ahead and fill this up. Perfect. Now the fun part's going to be actually getting this design right here. I got a headache from sculpting all day. Oh man, dude, I've been there. That's Metal Gear. That's always a pain. What's up, Ryan? Welcome in, dude. Welcome in. Yeah, just be careful not to burn yourself out, because I'd say sculpting all day long and then not giving yourself a break, yeah, definitely burn out. So always feel free to take a break. Hey, what's up, Chris? How you doing? How you doing, man? Happy Sunday, guys. Happy Sunday! Alright. So what I'm going to do now, let's do this. I want this actual design here. Right here. So I'm going to... I want to do... Alright, I know. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to grab this panel right there. I'm going to delete hidden. I'm going to subdivide this a few times. And let's go ahead and kind of get this. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and just go lazy mouse. Actually, you know what? Let's be a little clean about this. Let's do perfect mask. So we're going to do this. We're going to go perfect mask here. A little bit bigger. Okay, we're going to go perfect mask right here. Followed by perfect mask right there. Followed by removal of that. Yeah, I think that's good. Doing okay. Don't have long. Storms are about to roll in. Probably going to be pretty bad. Oh, man. Yeah. Dude, be safe, man. Yeah, we're going to fix the box. I can see that ZBrush is getting less and less dependent from other software in a way that here you can do hard surface. Yeah, absolutely. And ZModeler is a little weird in the beginning too. But once you get used to it, I don't find myself needing or wanting to jump into other programs. So yeah, you could definitely do a lot here. Okay, let's go ahead and try that one more time. There we go. And actually, let's subdivide a couple more times. I want a high subdivision level. I want a nice clean mask. So I'm gonna go pretty big on this. There we go. Yeah, like that. There we go. Yeah, that's going to be a lot better. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and actually going to make this a polygroup just so I have it in the future. There we go. Let's go to... Oh no, that's that's zombie cat up at the top. Thanks, man. Yeah, for example, can I make a house here? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can make a house here for sure. Yeah. You absolutely can. Okay, what I'm gonna do real quick is hit 0. No, you know, I don't want to hit 0. On that thickness, I want to come here one more time. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that, and we'll there we go. Oh, okay, I'm noob here. Don't mind me. Actually, just realized something. I don't need to hit extract because I had it thicker. For some reason, I thought I was doing it on another surface. That'll work right there. Perfect. That's what I want. Don't mind me. But yeah, you can absolutely do a house here for sure. That's the beauty part. We don't need this anymore, so let's go ahead and delete that. And for these, let's go ahead and move this here in the center. And we'll actually, let's put symmetry back on, and we'll scale this up. Hey, what is happening? I am making the box for the Demon Slayer statue that we've been working on. So this will be the box that Netsuko lives in. And right up here in the top corner is kind of where we left off last week. Switch this to a dark gray. We never want to go true black, because true black is just not going to let shadows hit. We're actually going to go kind of a cooler gray. So let's do that. She looks like a coffin. Kind of, she's a demon. If you've never seen Demon Slayer, I highly recommend you guys check out Demon Slayer, because it's wonderful. It's a good show. All right, let's go ahead and mirror and weld on the y-axis. There we go. But yeah, so you would be right to say that it's kind of like a coffin. Oh. And I'm just going to go ahead and hold this out this way, scale this box like that. Oh, okay, let me Naruto the jump right. Nice, man, nice. Okay. I don't speak Japanese very well, if much at all, but let me go Google Translate real quick, just so hopefully I get it kind of right. Kind of hopefully. Cut off the spare too. Oh, thank you. Yeah, glad you like the T-shirt. You can actually see more of my art right here. Let me get a link for you. If you just go to my link tree, you can actually get check out some of my art on like Instagram, ArtStation. You can also download some of the sculpts that I've done on like my Cults 3D, etc., etc. Okay. Go ahead and clear that mask real quick. Let's do that. Perfect. Now we're even going to do a little bit of a rivet. Really, just need like some cylinders to be where we want them to be. Something like that. So let's switch that white and let's fill that object. Scan that down. I got a roll, but just wanted to say I was here. Love your work, by the way. Thank you so much, Anthony. Thank you so much, dude. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your night, man. Or morning. Night or morning. Beautiful. Okay, and let's go ahead and copy this on over to this side as well. Get these going like that. We're almost done with the box. Are you ready for the Sculpt-off? Oh, I'm so ready, man. So ready. How many of you guys are actually doing the Sculpt-off this year? And if not, why not? I'm super excited for it. I honestly cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun. All right, let's go ahead and save this, and we'll call this the DS box, just for saving it quickly. Oh yeah, is the Sculpt-off ready for you? Right? Almost scared. Nah, don't be scared. It's gonna be so cool. You guys don't have to worry about that stuff. You guys are ready for it. Okay, we're gonna do this little trick right here. Well, if you guys are nervous, do not worry, because I'm thinking this week. Okay, so this week, I haven't officially planned what day. Maybe Wednesday might be a good day. But what I'm planning on doing in the evening, Los Angeles time this week, is to do a live stream for about an hour or two on my own. So with that link tree, go ahead and follow me on Discord and Twitch. But ideally, you guys know the theme is reimagined. So what I'm planning on doing is just doing a live stream for about an hour or two, and basically going over just tips and tricks on how I would approach it. So that way, if you guys have any questions on, how to approach a certain method, or little shortcuts, like, how to know how much time has passed, maybe concepting your idea and practicing a bunch of times. If you guys are interested in any of that, let me know. So, and then we'll go ahead and do that. I plan on doing it anyway. I just want to basically help out as many people as possible. I think it's really good for a lot of people to try the Sculpt-off, even if you don't win. Just the experience on trying to concept something in 3 hours is so beneficial. So I highly recommend you guys join in on that. Okay, so let's go here to inset. Nope, insets. Okay, let's come over here. Let's actually go to Q Mesh All. Like that. It's okay to be nervous. Nervous is good, though. You can be nervous without being be nervous without being too worried. I was super scared last year. Now this year I'm like, oh, I just want to go and sculpt. Let's go ahead and mirror and weld this on the y-axis as well, just so we have that there. And then it looks like there's like a little bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a lip. Can't speak. My gosh. Up there. Let's go to texture. It's transform, and let's go to symmetry. Y. There we go. Just want to scale that down. Just turn on local sim. Want to dedicate time to ZBrush, then end up drifting off gaming, doing websites, wasting time doing other stuff. Oh my gosh, I've been there so much, man. Been there so much. It's easy to feel like you're wasting time, you know, but even if you spend just like an hour a day in ZBrush, or heck, man, even just, I don't know, 5 minutes, it's really beneficial. But I get it. Trust me. I have 2 kids, full-time job. Oh, I understand, man. Totally understand. Okay. Actually needs to be scaled in here like such. Hey, what happened to my... Look at this. You guys see this little error here? Oh, that's funny. That's cool. All right, I'll take that. Cool. What is up with that? Let's save it. Let's go ahead and create a... Wait, what is this one? Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and shrink this. Let's move this over like such. There we go. I'm confused about the sculpt we're supposed to do is create your own character. Okay, so no, not really. So wow. Okay. So basically what it is, the theme is reimagined. So it even says take a famous fictional character, kind of reimagine or redesign that character, but still staying true to that character. So for example, you would take Batman, right? And what you would be doing is essentially redesigning Batman as Batman, but not in the way that we've seen him before. So I know that in the past we were supposed to create our own. We were supposed to create our own concepts, but if you, but the idea of the theme is that we're taking something that already exists in the universe, that is a famous fictional character, and we are redesigning that character and making it our own. But it still has to look like that character. So a case in point is, there's like regular Batman, and then there's like, if you were to do like Detective Batman, you would then take the essence of Batman and turn it into like a mix of, him now as like with a hat and a trench coat, different gadgets, maybe a different time period, maybe a different gender, maybe a different muscle structure, but he would still ultimately be Batman. So that's essentially what we're asked to do. And the inspiration from that actually comes from the 1931 Coca-Cola Santa Claus thing, where essentially Coca-Cola hired an illustrator to redesign how what we knew of Santa Claus then, and now what we know Santa Claus to be now is what the redesign was. So it's essentially that. Just take a really close look at the rules, and you'll notice that in the rules, it doesn't. It states very clearly on what it is they want to do. So just go through all those. But no, great question, because I think there is a little bit of confusion based on what people remember of last year's and years before and now. So it's a dangerous game to play. Definitely can be, right? Yeah, but we're essentially redesigning the character as just redesign a character that's there, you know? Just make sure that it will be recognizable. And I think that might be the quote hard part, is figuring out exactly how or what we'd want that to be recognizable. But I think it's going to be great. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Not a problem. Absolutely. It's funny to hear what Santa was then and what he is now. I know, right? I always just thought, oh, Santa's just a jolly dude in a red suit and with a beautiful silver beard. Apparently not. Oh, the poor history bugs. But if you guys have any questions on, you know, how tips and tricks with the Sculpt-off, any curious things that you guys are worried about or wondering, you know, don't hesitate. Ask away. Go ahead and fill that bad boy. Let's put it there. Put that thing. Such. There we go. Look at that. Call him Father Christmas. No jolly. Right? Let me Google translate this real quick. Yeah. Devil's Blade, I also love. I'm very happy as a Japanese person to know about Japanese animation and pick up on ZBrush. Thank you. Not a problem. I really wish I was fluent in Japanese right now to be able to tell you that, but no, you're very, very welcome. Soon. One day soon. Oh, look at that look at that gizmo error. That's crazy if you ask me. Oop. Okay, well, we'll leave that alone. That's fine. We can fix that later once it's there. Okay. So pretty much that's almost the box. Like, we just have one more thing to do real quick, which is grab this, and we're gonna go ahead and make 4 corners of it all. Boop, 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 boop. All right, so what we're gonna do is actually go here, go ahead and fill that object. Oh, that back. So I'm going to hold Control Shift and hit Control Shift D, which duplicates any object. And then we're going to go ahead and fill that. I'm going to scale this way down and bring this up. Because we're going to make fun little lip right now. I actually want to kind of line this up in a way that's going to work for me. Something like that. Is the final image to be delivered the JPEG revolving pedestal? Wait. Sorry, do you mean for the Sculpt-off with the or are you talking about my current project? If the final image, if you're talking about what the final render should be, the final render should be you know, in ZBrush and yeah, JPEG format. You don't have to worry about the full 360 view of the Sculpt-off. You just have to worry about anything that will be seen within the art piece itself. So think of it more as an illustration, not necessarily a complete 3D model mock-up. So don't waste your time trying to do like a turntable or to showcase a character sheet. You're just coming up with a concept and you're showcasing it in one view and one view only. So hopefully that answers your question. Hello, Crafts and Canvas. Hello. You're here. I'm going to grab this right here. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Extrude, All Polygroups. I'm going to drag this out. I'm going to go ahead and say something like that. Okay. I lied to you guys. What I'm going to do is drag this out and hold Control, get that a little bit more that way. And then we're going to go ahead and delete hidden. And then I'm going to drag this out again so I have a nice flat little plane here. Be like that. And we're going to go ahead and this up, shrink it down. Put some rivets on there too, so it looks good. Okay. And now what we're going to do is I'm actually going to add in a couple edge loops. So we're going to go multi-edge loop, and I'm going to do something about there, about halfway through. Okay. I'm going to drag this spot right there. And then hovering over this face, back to extrude, perfect. We're just drag this straight down. It looks like a little bit of a T lip, or like a T shape. We're just going to drag that straight down. Something more like that. That in there, and push that in there like such. Now, for this guy here, I'm going to change some stuff. I earlier kind of beveled a corner. I didn't want to do that. I realize that now. My mistake. I'm going to end up doing that. Scale this over. That it fits a little bit more in line with what I'm doing. A bit more. Now we're going to take this and we're going to push this in. Just take this in. Edit, edit, edit. Get what you want. Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem, Spear Chuck. Sculpt-off food menu for 3 hours may consist of caffeine and sugar. That is the only thing on the menu you should have. That be it. Absolutely. All right, mirror and weld. Not mirror and weld. Go here. going to go ahead and mirror and weld this right there. Then I'm going to mirror and weld on the Y. Then I'm going to mirror and weld on the Z. Now I have all of my planes here that I want right there. There, kind of out a little bit. That. Making the box! Hey, what's up? Blah, 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 blah. Ben, thank you. Ben, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm feeling a whole lot better. Yeah, last week I was out, guys, for those of you who don't know. I just got sick. Just common cold. I did all the fun tests that I should do to make sure it was just a cold. It was good, but yeah, it was weird because my kids got sick, and then I was trying so hard to avoid it, but I got sick anyway. And then I was feeling fine on Saturday, and then Sunday just tanked again. So I was like, oh my gosh, it felt so gross. But thank you for asking so much. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. Okay, and let's see here real quick. Yep, that should be good. Nice little bracket right there. We can always adjust this too, where we can kind of come in, actually widen that up like such. Turn this way, grab that, push that to make it a little bit wider. And what we can do, same thing, we can mirror and weld on the Y and Z at the same time, just so that we have it. Yay! No, thank you guys. Oh, that's so, you guys are super awesome. Okay, let's get the handle on here. Then it'll be ready for texturing. Let's save it real fast. So for those of you who were asking earlier about hard surface, or just asking like, can I build a house or something in ZBrush? Yeah, you could do it really, really quickly. We have this mostly blocked out, and that's going to be the big trick, guys. When you're doing the Sculpt-off, the biggest trick for you, like I would never approach a project this massive in 3 hours. It's just like, it would just look terrible. So the biggest thing to do in the Sculpt-off is pick a concept that's going to be executable, and don't worry about details. Like, this box is starting to read exactly how I want it, and this would be almost good enough to just move on from the Sculpt-off. So little things like that, just keep that aware. And as you add these details in, just keep it as simplistic as possible in the beginning. It's only going to help make things a lot easier. Let's go ahead and split hidden real fast, because I realize what I want to do is actually want to make those rivets just a little bit smaller. See? All right, I'm already critiquing myself. Over here. I want to have smaller rivets. Okay, if that ever happens, just come here, just go. There. Like such. And just mirror and weld that on the Z. All right, that's better. Hello, what's up, Unstable? How you doing? Marion King, hello, hello. All right, let's get that handle in there. So let's come back here, and then what I'm gonna do is actually just grab a basic like a Q cube, or something like that, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna split unmasked, so that we have just the handle to worry about. I'm gonna place that here. Yeah, welcome in, man. Welcome in. Alright, we're gonna make this kind of thin. Now, of course, this is 3D printable, so we're gonna kind of finagle a few stuff. Hey, crew! Hello, hello! Alright, insert multiple edges. Get some good topology in here. Right? It's important. Something like this. Let's go ahead and actually... We're gonna bloat this out a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Something like that. Maybe a little bit more. Load that there. Go. I'm gonna go ahead and insert single edge this time so we can get some good fall off. If I do this, then hit D, say yep. Gonna get some nice rounding happening. Perfect. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and insert multiple edges, and I'm going to give some good topology right there. Right there. The reason why is I actually don't want that part rounded so much. I do want to subdivide it, so it looks like that. And then we're just going to go ahead and do a bevel arc. Okay. New little brush here. Gonna quickly bevel this. I see fit, kind of round at the end. So you know what we should do? To make this easier on ourselves, let's send it home. Go ahead and turn on symmetry. That way we can evenly round things out. Go. Perfect. Now we can bring this out here. Go ahead and let's grab our paint. Let's fill it. Squeeze that in a little bit. Now we got a handle. Well, the first part of the handle. Hey, good morning from the UK. Well, good morning to you too. How are you doing? How are you doing? All right, so we got that part there. Let's get the handle in here, and then we're almost done. How do I want to do this? It's going to be so small. I almost don't think it needs to be... Yeah, let's just grab a cylinder pipe. Okay. Round that out. 90 degrees. Squeeze that in. Open that bad boy up. Let's actually split unmasked one more time. Go. Almost done. Then 3 months on the last 5%. Exactly, right? Just means you know, sir. That just means you know. You know? How many of you have figured out exactly what you're going to be doing or want to do with the Sculpt-off? You guys figured it out yet? Go ahead and delete hidden on this. And I'm going to turn on double. This way what we could do is now manipulate how this part looks. You got yours figured out? Nice, nice. The topic is reimagine. So you're supposed to take a fictional famous character, and the goal is to reimagine how they would look if you were tasked with the job to redesign. Take that right there. We're actually going to go ahead and take this part here. Let's get the lasso from here. There. Kind of flatten this out a little bit, so let's mask that off. And let's take our inserts, multi-loops, just to have some topology in this handle. We're going to round the edge. A little bit smooth and more inviting to hold. You have it to hold. Okay. Then what we're going to do real quick is we're going to go ahead and group by normals. And come in here, start pulling this out to give it a little bit more thickness. All right, there's the handle. Let's go ahead and save it. We can always detail this after the fact. Yeah, it's pretty open for sure, absolutely. Well, I should say I have two ideas. I've done 2 trial runs on one, but leaning towards the second idea. Nice. Yep, yeah. I have an idea. I haven't attempted it yet. I pretty much spent the weekend figuring out what character I want to do, and then what character is most likely everybody else is going to do, and then thought a different direction. So hopefully it pays off. So we'll see. We won't know until we get there how many people are doing the thing I would like to do. But yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to see so many ideas. It's going to be so much fun. All right. Now, here's what we're going to do, guys, real quick. This is a little trick. You guys see everything that's here, and you put that little pizza box on there. Then you hit, right, maybe you'll select everything. Everything, there we go. Let's send that home. Please tell me you'll do it. Oh, it's not doing it for some. Why isn't it doing it? Used to be able to, if you hit the pizza box, hit Control F, it would actually put everything visible within that sub tool. Let me see something quick. It's not doing that. Fine, whatever. Box. That's fine. Just do it the hard way. Just put everything in its folder. And then what I actually want to do is save it, and then we'll transfer this over. So if we go to Subtool, Master, Copy Folder, we can then come back to our project. Woo, closed up on Netsuko's head real quick. Come back in that project, and then we can go ahead and actually paste folder. So Z plugin, paste folder, and it'll bring everything on over into that folder, which is nice. Then you can turn off all of these. You turn off everything. Touch. There it is. There we go. Perfect. Let's grab that. Let's put the pizza box on there. Why are you doing this to me? I need to know the trick. Yeah, that's how it used to be. Finding that I'm having actually a little bit of funky dunky stuff happening right now. There we go. Turn everything else off. That box back on. Okay, thank you. Work with me here, ZBrush. You guys ever wonder if you guys ever wonder if we who are in ZBrush every single day ever have any issues, let me reassure you, we have all the issues in the world. Okay. Here's what I want to do. I want to zoom all the way out. I want to scale this up real quick. Okay. I need to see where we're at. There we go. Ooh, that was tiny. There we go. Okay. Put that there. There we go. This is getting there. It's just super small, yeah. We are getting there for sure. Okay. Go. Need to rescale the box according. So we can crush this down when we need it. We can scale it however we want. There we go. A good time to really just set it where we need it to be. Since I've already kind of set since I set a box here as I need it, just shape according. Now, funny enough, I made the handle on this side, but in the anime, we see the handle on a few different sides. So we're going to move the handle on over. There we go. Just like that. All right. All right, we're getting there. Let's actually take this handle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide Netsuko for a second. And her head. And where are we? Put this box down here and her clothing. Okay, I'm gonna just... We're gonna turn everything else off. Touch this and this. We're gonna move this over to the other side. If I hit Y on the keyboard, touch right there, and then hit Y again, it'll actually give me the blue handle that I need to push this back in. Like that. There we go. Let's turn her back on. Perfect. Now that handle's there, but not in the way. Back up. Super small. There we go. Take that. Be careful when you start moving this stuff around. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, that was the original Tanjiro head. We don't need that one anymore. Let's go ahead and delete that. I do that. Yeah. All right, I gotta hit the sack. Taking a cold today. Oh man, feel better. Unstable. Feel better. Have a good night. Yeah, thank you so much. Now, having her jump out of the box is actually going to be super problematic. So, I'm going to do this again. Something happened. It was actually going to be more problematic than it was worth having her jump out of the box, so having her jump on the box is perfect. So yeah, that's pretty much essentially what we're going to be doing with it. Let's try this one more time. Go ahead, come here. Come back to the box. The other thing we could do too is we could just copy the whole thing. What we could also do is just merge it all together, but I don't really want to do that. I'm repasting it because I think that's going to be a lot more beneficial. A lot of times when you put this gizmo on, if you don't clear this pizza box thing, then you're going to have some issues. So reset all that. So let's try this one more time, but in an instant replay, as they say. Back that out. Grab that. And what I'm also going to do, here's a really cool trick, is we're going to scale this up a lot so that we can see it. That's going to be more important than anything else. We don't need to do that. Yeah. Now let's turn everything else back on. There we go. Perfect. The other way we can do this is we can go to T-pose mesh, and we can actually just move the box individually instead of doing the pizza box thing, because sometimes that gets a little bit crazy. Also, my brain doesn't appear to be working as well today, so forgive me, guys. Forgive me! Alright, let's grab that. Invert that. Let's make it so you guys can see what I'm doing. Turn that pizza box off. Let's actually move this on over more officially, because we know that's what it's going to be. Perfect. Grab this. That over. Scale it down. Move it this way. Should have just done this the first time. There we go. That's going to be a lot better. And I actually do want this kind of sitting on him a little bit more than I had the original box. See, that was a lot easier. Do that next time, Ian. Let's set that there. Go. All right, all right. All right. I think I've this I think this actually I have the most subtools I've ever had in a project in this project right now. I think I'm over, yeah, 73 subtools. I don't think I've ever had that many before. Okay, let's go ahead and scroll on down and get rid of this original box right here. Go ahead and delete. Come on. Perfect. Now let's work on the straps a little bit. But before we do all that, let's go ahead and save. Save. All right. Now let's work on this stuff right here. Ideally, what we're going to be doing now is just kind of moving these straps around until they fit the way we want them to fit. And it looks like, for the most part, they're kind of a darker, or like a slight tan. that. So we can go ahead and fill object on that. Now we can readjust the straps. Yeah, let's push this cloak around. Get what we want. That's also the other thing I would like to do today is get the proper flow of the cloth going before we move into any tertiary forms regarding the clothing. We can do too is we can actually use this area right here to kind of get a nice little connection point. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a lot better. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to get this a little bit more finalized in its position. Oh, thanks, man. It's definitely coming along. So real quick too, if you guys don't know, if you hover over an edge and you use the insert multiple edge loops, down at the bottom, if you don't want to have the poly groups change on you, just either pick same group or keep group. Same group will give you a different poly group, but then you don't have to worry about being different poly groups altogether. The reason why I say this, I actually want to do that, so I don't need to go keep groups, or I don't have to go, group by normals once I've made that choice. I could just click that and then say delete hidden. And now what I can do from here is, I'm actually going to do this on kind of the inside. I'm going to turn double off. I'm actually going to scale inwards so I can see the thickness of the strap on how I want it. And then all I'm going to do is under display properties, just hit flip, and that'll flip your normals. And then there are my straps right there. Now let's go ahead and actually insert single edge. Just get a couple loops in there. You know what? Come here. That. Want to keep poly groups. That. Tap it. Tap it, tap it. Perfect. Well, I'm a little bit squared off like that. Now we have some better, proper looking straps. There we go. But it looks like it's actually doing what it's supposed to be doing. We want a little bit of that squish factor happening here. So it looks like it's actually being compressed by the weight of the box. Even though it's going to be relatively small, we want to make sure that it at least looks pretty good. And so you see how there's this gap right here? What we can do is we actually can just come in here and pull his jacket up a little bit and just kind of fix that so that now it looks like that there's going to be weight on his shoulders, and we can actually accordingly put wrinkles there to showcase that compression. That's what we really want to do, is make sure that whatever's interacting with our cloth, we showcase the compression. We also showcase the stretch as well. So little things to just kind of keep in mind when doing something like this. Okay. I think we're at a good spot where we could start kind of messing with everything else. I think her head looks a little bit too big. Let's turn on our local sim to bring that head a little. Yeah, I think that's looking a little bit better. Slightly bigger. Okay. This is definitely the part in which I'm going to be spending a little bit more time trying to get right. So now what I want is actually looking at the concept. So take a look at our project first. And I highly recommend doing this a lot. It's something I started doing thanks to a amazing artist named Mike Thompson. So if you guys don't know Mike Thomas, you guys got to check him out. But I want to make some notes on things I want to actually critique here. Let's go over that real quick. So if we look at the concept art as we have it here, let's actually stretch this out. Some of the key points that I actually want to call out are going to be right here, the way the cloth is flowing up and really kind of showcasing that nice line of action. Her cloak, wow, sorry, I can't speak, is pretty open the way I have it. But there's some pretty good flow lines happening here, which is nice. This is pretty loose, but we do have some pretty good action going this way. Her hair is just super flowing. We have some strands coming from the front. So I'm going to want to make sure that we have some hair coming down. So we're going to want to clean up a lot of that as well. Now, it's hard to see his pants at this point, but we'll just make sure that they're nice, strong spots. Let's go ahead and take a little bit more closer look at that. I would say let's actually get this kind of flowing upwards, just like in the concepts. We'll clean up his cape or his cloak or jacket for the proper name for it. Call it jacket. Get this a little bit more rounded off that way, kind of flowing a little bit more open so that it has a really nice feel to it. It's just too staggered right now, so we really want to make sure that has a good feel to it and that's consistent throughout the whole piece. Same with hers. Right now it's just kind of sitting on her butt, so we actually want to open that up a little bit, maybe have it a little bit more like this coming through. Hopefully you guys can see that. It is pretty small. Actually delete that real quick. There we go. Fast. So it's kind of sitting on her. We kind of want to have this open up a little bit, wrap around on the other side, have this come up. Like this would be a lot bigger this way, and then taper in. This isn't so bad. It's a little bit, I have her arm a little bit more angled than maybe in the concept, so I can adjust that. We can have that going there. Everything's kind of flowing in a nice, solid direction. The same here. Kind of have this more wrap this way. Kind of have this flow up. Imagine this here. Which is good. So just really taking an overall look at our piece and just making sure that it's doing exactly what we want to do. So, but not overwhelming ourselves either, because I feel like I typically tend to do that, where I'll just overload my senses with, oh, I need to have this, that, and the other. So, same too, looking at the concept, I feel like her kimono maybe needs to be a little bit more showcasing a little bit more leg because it was really be scooched back. So let's get on that as well. Let's fix all that. Hey, Smash, thanks, man. Welcome in, welcome in. Let's go ahead and let's start with the easiest thing and then work our way up to the more difficult stuff. So I think the easiest thing would actually be this part right here. So let's get this working. I'm actually gonna kind of pull this up a little bit. Take the snake hook brush. Go. So we don't want any RGB on this one. What I'm gonna do is just kind of pull this a little bit. Pull this out. There's going to be some wrinkles here, but we'll try to keep it as smooth as possible so we can add our wrinkles afterward. I don't want any accidental moving or weird flow lines. When I'm smoothing, I'm actually doing a relaxed smooth. So I'm holding shift, smoothing, and letting go of shift. That way it's just to control the topology and keep it as clean as possible. So we'll need to add an additional sleeve like his jacket, which is totally fine. Look at that. Okay, great. Go. Set up over there. We'll have that going. Something like that. We'll try to keep it as even as possible. Again, little smooth action there. Sometimes if you break an edge, we can go ahead and actually bleed hidden, and we'll go ahead and recrease the edge there. Try to move that back where we see it. Had an edge collapse. So that looks a little better. Go. A little bit of cloth movement. And it looks like it's pinching along his arm a little bit. So what we could do is kind of mask this area off. Kind of maybe squeeze that in just a bit. Make it look like there's a indentation of his arm. Yep. And again, so this was the first part of the sleeve, so we actually need to make another sleeve. I'm actually going to go ahead and copy this up. This will be the sleeve that goes over his sleeve. I plan on actually capping these sleeves off here a little bit, so you won't have to worry too much about anatomy that's not seen. Then kind of blend that in. Let's actually grab that color and let's fill it. But what will happen is we'll actually create a spot where we can cap this off so we won't actually see up into his arm this far. There's no real need to go too crazy, but just for showing it, we'll just kind of push it back there just a little bit. Okay. And maybe we'll come here a little bit and grab that. And we just pull this. Touch. We'll do the same thing, Control-Shift-D. We're going to scale that up a little bit, pull this back, and then fill that as well. Push that in. Again, this will get capped. When it gets capped too, what I'm going to do is, because I'm planning on the way I'm planning on printing it, we can actually make the arms and the sword separate pieces and then glue them in after the fact. I think that would be pretty good. Right here. Yeah, it's a little bit better. Go. And while I'm noticing it, what I'm going to do is actually fix his coat a bit. Right here, this would actually kind of blend in a bit. Part will actually over just a bit more. And let's actually use a SK brush. One of my favorite brushes. We'll use SK Fill Brush. We're gonna apply. Fill this side right here. If you guys don't have the SK brushes, you can use clay fill or clay buildup as well. This will be one piece. Bit. Of the two. Actually, what we're going to do now is we're going to take this one and let's see here. Yeah, perfect. Make sure to apply that. Let's go ahead and save real quick. And we'll go ahead and merge that part down. Now we'll finesse this a bit. Actually, what we can do, instead of finessing it this way, let's actually go ahead and take this, subdivide once or twice, and delete lower. I'm going to mark that spot. All right, we're going to go ahead and actually Dynamesh it. Let's try circle off. Let's turn that resolution up pretty high. See what we look like. The higher subdivision. SK brushes! Oh yeah. Okay, that might be a little bit too high. So let's actually try right about there. There we go. That's a little bit better. Move that down. Take our SK brush. And we'll just kind of clean this up. Now this part will look like it's overlapping a bit. And we'll also take our H polish, so BHP. Kind of flatten that out. Now we can add buttons and such to it so that it looks like an actual jacket. Come on. Go. Perfect. Oh, yes. Oh, dude. Thank you so much for sharing that, Rithyon. That's awesome. Yep. His base mesh is awesome, too. If you want to get into anime really, really quickly and need a good base mesh, definitely use it. Fix this cape a bit. Jacket, I mean. I don't know why I keep calling it a cape. Probably because it looks like one. Get a little bit more flow to that. Alright, that's a bit better. A little bit more cleaned up. We'll be finessing that a lot more. We get to the final stages, but for right now. Let's actually push this out and get that nice arc and curve shape. What I'm looking for. Hide that a little bit. Go. All right. The better. Down a bit. Let's get fixing that right there. You can see it's just a lot of finessing at this point. Put that down a bit. Perfect. Okay. I don't speak Spanish or I don't speak any other language but English, but I'll try my best to use Google Translate. Just trying to get an idea. Yep. Yeah, I can't help you, dude. Sorry, man. That number. All right, no. Yeah. Okay, let's get that going like that. Yeah, sorry, man. Push this in a little bit. So we want this. We want we don't want to hide this actual strap. But what we could do real quick is that it looks a little weird with the way that it is, right? Because it could be twisting, or it should be twisting. We can actually come in here like this. Let's actually auto group it. Grab this one as itself. Let's actually get that real quick. We can actually kind of rotate this. Kind of make it look like it's twisting into the piece that we need it to. Take this strap, push that down the rest of the way. Same with this one. Actually take this guy right here. Try to rotate that a bit. Now we can come here, kind of push this around just a little bit, so it gives us that impression that it's actually moving, that there's weight, again, on the box. And once we get to a point where we'll have, we get to a point where we'll start adding wrinkles and stuff, we'll actually get a lot more definition and feeling that it's being pulled and tugged. Okay, cool. little bit more as we want. Now that with this, let's actually add a pocket in his suit. You're invited! Nightbot's trying to help you. Alright, first things first, let's get some buttons on here first. And honestly, all I'm going to really do for the buttons on this is they just look like kind of flat spheres. I'm actually going to drag that sphere out like that, and then we're going to go ahead and split unmasked. Come right here. Let's actually make this white. We're just going to kind of squish it. And just kind of embed that. Put local sim on. Okay. And then I'm going to turn everything else off but these two so I can see a little bit clearer. More clear. That. Control drag it. And one more time. Okay. Put way too many buttons on there, which is totally fine. So let's actually... can actually delete a few. So let's actually delete this one. Nope. I delete this one. This one. There's only like 3 buttons on this whole suit. Okay. Let's actually redo this. Go. Try this one. Hey, what's up, Vic? You have a question about 3D prints? Go right ahead, dude. Show me. Tell me. Try to help. Go ahead here. There we go. All right. Yeah, way less. All right. All right, while Vic is asking his question, let's actually... oh, it just popped up. I bought a key pack, and when I print them, always it's like mail key inflate, and I have to sand it a lot. Oh, okay. Okay. So you're wondering... essentially, you're wondering how to make it so that you don't have to sand your mail keys down. Yeah, not a problem. There's a couple ways you can do that. Let me save this and let's actually pop on up and see what we can do here. Go ahead and delete this right here. I'm just gonna delete the things I don't need right now. Either doesn't quite fit right. Yeah. You auto space the buttons and then place them. I auto space the button. Oh, yeah, kind of. Okay, what's up, dude? All right, so I'm gonna stamp this right here. Let's go right here and let's make polymesh 3D, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and just Q-cube this for you. So let's go initialize, and we're gonna Q-cube it. Okay. So basically, I'm not sure which key pack you bought, Vic, so it's hard to say based on the key pack itself. However, one of the things that I think you could do with any key pack is essentially just see if there's enough spacing in between the male and female that you have. So we can go ahead and cover that. I'll talk about the buttons here in a second. So So first things first, what we're going to do is we're just going to create a key real fast for demonstration purposes. So I'm just going to go ahead and push this up here. I'm going to go ahead and just scale this up, and I'm going to get something like this. This is generally what I would make for a key. The other thing I like to do is go to geometry and turn off, next to divide, there's a button called SMT, which essentially just means smooth. I turn that off, and then I subdivide a few times. Okay, and then I delete lower, and now I have this, and that's my key. Okay, now one of the things that you want to make sure when you're prepping for 3D print is that you have your scale set up accordingly so that you know how much space is actually in your keys. Okay, now you bought something, and it doesn't really matter. That part doesn't really matter. What matters is once you have scale in ZBrush, you can then see if the spacing is going to fit. Typically, you're going to need to figure out, based on your machine and your machine settings and how you export, you're going to need to find out and play with a few numbers in order to get there, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So first things first, let's actually just set scale, okay? And the way I like to set scale is I like to insert a basic cube, something like such, okay? And I'll scale it down just a little bit accordingly, just so we can have a good size reference. And what I do is I go to Z plugin, and this is all default within ZBrush. I go to Scale Master, and I hit Set Scene Scale. And I do this with a cube because it's perfectly symmetrical on all sides. Okay? And then I'm going to pick millimeter because that's typically what most 3D prints will... most 3D print slicers and printers work in millimeter. So I recommend sticking with that. A number to remember if you're converting from metric to imperial or vice versa, 25.4. 25.4 is 1 inch in the imperial system, just using the millimeter system. 25.4 millimeters is equal to 1 inch. And how you can convert is just dividing or multiplying your number into 25.4 to get a certain size. So just remember 25.4 millimeters is equal to 1 inch, and that will save you a lot. So we're going to go ahead and say millimeter, and then I'm going to go down here in Scale Master and type in 25.4, okay? And resize subtool. And what this will do is it's now going to tell me that my scene is about 1 inch based on this cube. If I hit Set Scene Scale again, it would say 25.4 millimeter or 1 inch. And now I'm set. And we set the scene scale to that factor. So now anything that's smaller than it or bigger, we can just automatically know. Okay? Hopefully I didn't lose you too far, but this part's really important. Could you resize the entire sculpt to fit the scale, though, after you're done sculpting? Yes. Yes, you can. All you have to do, and I'll showcase that here in a second, all you have to do is take your entire sculpt and size it the way I'm showing you, either by making the cube the overall size that you want, say 200 millimeters, or you just have this 1 inch and then you just kind of size and measure accordingly. But okay, now that we have scaling size, there's one other thing I want to tell you guys, and I feel like this gets lost in translation a little bit, so I'm going to pin the Z plugin. Scale Master and 3D Print Hub, or just rather best said, Z plugins. These Z plugins do not communicate with each other whatsoever. So what I do in Scale Master isn't going to tell 3D Print Hub that that's the right size. I have to use each plugin as its own entity, okay? So when you're following along or you're trying to set scenes, if you're trying to set a scale and you're like, well, I use Scale Master and now my scene is set, but then I export it and everything is giant, that's because Scale Master and 3D Print Hub or any of the Z plugin tools, they don't communicate with each other. Not well at all. So, like, at all. They just don't. So you'll have to do things a little bit differently when you go to export, but just keep that in mind. Z plugins, they don't talk to each other. And if you remember that, it'll be really good, because then when you go to export, you'll deal with the 3D Print Hub. But again, I'm sidetracking, but I thought that would be important. So once we've set our scale, now we can figure out how much space is in between our keys, okay? So what we want to do is we have a male and we need to create a female. And for demonstration purposes, what we're going to do, we're going to just go ahead and Control-Shift-D duplicate. I'm going to turn on transparent. And what this is going to showcase is how much space is in between, all right? So I'm going to scale this down a little bit. And maybe stretch it up a bit. And what I'm looking for is the space in between the male and the female. And that's how we're going to determine. Typically, a good factor for me has always been about 0.2 to 0.4 millimeter spacing between my male and my female. Okay? So what we want to do is actually create that setup. Now that we have it sized, we can actually go ahead and just use our gizmo. So we're going to hit W for the gizmo, hit Y for transpose. And what I'm going to do now is hold and measure here. And that's about 0.8 millimeter between the male and the female. That's going to be a lot of space, even with glue factored in. So one of the things that you're going to want to do is adjust your size of the keys that you're using in order to make sure that when they print, that you don't have to sand everything down, because there's no need for that, okay? So once we have that number established, now here's the hard part. So this is the hard part about ZBrush, and if I'm going on a tangent, I apologize, because I feel like it's really important to say, whatever 3D printer you have, doesn't matter if it's a Form, if it's an Elgin Mars, if it's a Creality, if it's a Prusa, your printer is unique to you and your setup. Even if it's out of the box, no two printers print exactly the same. And because they don't print exactly the same, what you need to do is a little bit of R&D, okay? Just some research and development. The reason for this is you need to do a couple test prints and find out where this magic number is. And in order to do that, what we need to do is just say, all right, with this factor, now that we have a whole set scale, I need to take my keys and see if there's a way to expand that inside. All right? And that's what we ultimately need to do. And one of the ways we can do it is by creating a live Boolean setup and then cutting each one and then test printing it. This is the only hard part about ZBrush. Everything else is a breeze. Right. It's because when you start prepping for 3D print, you're no longer sculpting, you're now engineering. And yeah, that gets a little bit complicated. So I'm going to try to hopefully cover this a little bit with a little bit of ease. So let's move forward here. 1 second. Okay, so let's see. What I recommend. Sorry, my brain's kind of all over the place. I'm actually going to scale this a little bit more. Let's come here. Yeah, I would say let's try to keep it between 0.2 and let's say 0.2 and 0.5. We had 0.8, so 0.5. That would be plenty. What you don't want is that you don't want it too sloppy, okay? But the idea is once you set up this factor, once you get this going, because we want to remember too, guys, that when we're figuring this part out, we got to remember that the glue needs somewhere to go. So we don't want it too loose so that we have to fill all this up with glue, but we also want to make sure that it's you know, snug, but with a little bit of wiggle room. And that wiggle room is going to give us that glue. So I'd say 0.2 to 0.5 would be pretty fine. And once you have something like this at this point, and again, you know, try to just get your keys looking a little bit better, but adjust that female key as much as you can. And then you would save this out as your cutter to cut the negative. Does that make sense? Let's see here. I'm hoping to get into 3D print my first piece in the coming weeks. I'm nervous to say the least. It's okay. Don't get too nervous. I might have been slightly ironic there, but but having finally got the go ahead to get a printer, I'm starting to understand the disconnect between the way ZBrush does things and say SketchUp or 3ds Max. Yeah, yeah, ZBrush does things a little bit differently. I 100% agree with that. But what I like about how ZBrush handles it over every other program is that the measurement system is very accurate here. It's just there is a little bit of a it's there is a little bit of like there's like a method to approach it. Does that make sense? So yeah, I would say make your test, but adjust accordingly. When you want to make any cut, you can understand the frustration of like, all right, I bought, especially since you bought something, buying something and then it not working 100% can get frustrating. So I definitely understand, but I recommend just doing it this way. Prep your male, prep your female, and then from there, go ahead and just make your adjustments and get a good test print. Also, too, the tuning of your machine is very important. I don't know if you're running resin or FDM. If you're running FDM, make sure everything's level. Make sure that your speed tests and your accuracy is really, really good. If you guys don't have, hold on a second. For those of you in the US, I don't know what the equivalent would be in other countries, but get yourself a pair, find that, of calipers. These are like $10 at Harbor Freight. So I would recommend getting some calipers, and then this way you can measure, and you can actually you can see there's a teeth for the inside, and then also a teeth for the outside. Get yourself a pair of calipers, and then measure and find your results and fine tune your machine, and you'll be really, really good. So definitely get some calipers. So yeah, that's definitely high. But I meant like Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight is a cheap place in the U.S. To get a lot of decent tools without breaking the bank. So I definitely recommend doing that. But I don't know if there's what the equivalent would be in other countries. So or Amazon, I guess, would be your next best thing. But get calipers, get some measurements, and then check that out. Hopefully that makes sense. Blah, blah, blah. It's those universe. Sorry, I'm late. No, ML Creative, you're totally fine, dude. We still got another hour, man. No worries. Okay, hopefully that answered the 3D print question. I know a lot of it was test, but really, guys, that really is like the best thing to do. If you're doing tests with resin, resin's a little bit easier. Just make sure that you write down your findings throughout your test prints, and you should have a much easier time with getting the right scale with resin. Filament shrinks a little bit more than resin in my experience, but I also just print with PLA, so. Anyway, okay. And now somebody said array mesh with the buttons. Bloop. Go ahead, delete that. Let's come back here. Okay. Now, I could have used array mesh with the buttons, but honestly, it would have been really, really, would have been more work than it's worth. Not a problem, Vic. Not a problem. So let's come back here real quick. I'm going to just go ahead and duplicate that. We're just going to solo this out. Grab that one and delete like I just pulled it out for the first time. Okay. So I could have used array mesh for the buttons, and if you guys want to see array mesh, here we go. So if I were to use array mesh for the buttons, the problem with it is that what I'm working with is kind of a staggered thing. And the reason why I just chose to do it by hand was because if I were to use array mesh at this point, first things first, I need to turn on array mesh, right? And then at this point, you need to figure out how many I want to repeat. I just want to repeat it 3. Okay, and then ultimately at this point, I'm gonna need to kind of figure out the the offset of it. So let's go ahead and drop this down. Let's say somewhere like that, which is fine. And then I'm gonna need to pivot them, right? So we can go to pivot. Nope, maybe not pivot. Probably just, yeah, probably offset them actually. Yeah, I'll need to offset. So you could see here, it's already, it's not that it's a bad way to do it, but I could have had this done already, if that makes sense. So this is why I didn't use array mesh to do the buttons. Dragging and rotating real quickly was an easy way to do it. But another way we could have done it, I'm going to turn this off real fast. Another way I could have done it was, let's actually just push this button in for demonstration purposes. I could have, oh my gosh, hit every button under the sun but the ones I want. I could have just taken a sphere, kind of drew this out. Hold on a second. And then I could have dragged this one out. And then I could have come to stroke and interpolate and say, I only want 3 strokes or 4 strokes. And then interpolate that. And that could have given me the results a lot faster. And then I would just go ahead and just, you know, push those in and adjust. So that's a new feature I could have used for sure. Array mesh just wasn't the right application for me in that position, but that was a way that you could have done that. So interpolate is really, really cool. If you choose to use interpolate, just remember that a rotation is considered a stroke, and what interpolate will do is it will take the first and last stroke and then fill it in between. So if I were to drag this out, then rotate and drag this one out and hit interpolate, it's going to get weird results at that point. So just not something that's really really effective. So at the end of the day, I just chose to do the typical like control drag because it was just easier for me. But it is up to you. One of the things I love about ZBrush is there's like 100 different ways to do the same thing. So whatever is convenient for you, I always fall on the sword and say, do the thing that's for you. My way is a little bit more brute force method where I just kind of like bash a bunch of stuff together to get a good result. Array mesh becomes super fast and amazing by mastering the always forgotten transpose tool. Sure, absolutely. Yep. As a tech artist, I live my life on lerp and slurp. Absolutely. So, but again, guys, like that's the best part about ZBrush, right? It's the best part about anything is that, you know, one method to do one thing may not be the best method to do everything, but picking the method that works for you is always the method that's going to work the best. Quote, IR Sculpts. You want to see the anime brush? There's an anime project. It's right here. Demo anime head. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. All right. And now this is for you. Okay, buddy? This is for you. I'm going to give you an anime brush. All right? On the house. What we're going to do, we're going to go merge visible. Okay? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go B, insert mesh, new. Okay? With me so far? And we're going to go save as. I'm going to put this, I'm even going to put this on my desktop. Right? Anime brush. IR Sculpts. And now I'm going to go to a new project. Boom! Instant anime statue for the win! There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Mostly low poly. It's a 9.7 million poly brush. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There you go. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you know what you could do? We can go in further. Split. Okay, okay. Here we go. Here we go. What we're gonna do? We're gonna split unmasked. Okay, and I'm gonna delete this one here. Here we go. I'm gonna reset that. Perfect. I'm gonna split into similar parts. So yeah, go ahead and do it. This might take a while, guys. This might take a while. We'll get it. Put on our station line. What's up, Brock Rock? How you doing? Boom. All right, here we go. Yep, yep, perfect. And we're gonna go B, create, insert multi-mesh. The mesh was split into 111 subtools. There you go. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, you guys want a Netsuko head? Bloop, Netsuko's head. Want a nicer Netsuko head? Boom, nicer Netsuko head. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Somewhere in here, let's see how nasty everything was. There you go. Got a hand that's already folded up. Pretty good, pretty good. Look at that. Get a little... That work for you? There you go. There we go. Oh, look, Tanjiro head. Whee! All right. See? And then we just go ahead and save as. Put this on my desktop. Bam. Done. There you go. Join my Discord, and I'll send it to you for free. I won't waste your money on that. Whee! No color, though. I can't do that in color. Oh, man. I had this brush in my way. Alright, well, let's see here. Boop. Bloop. Oh, shit. Oops. Oh, there goes her head. Deleted the wrong thing. Let me load my tool back up. Whoopsies! Um. All right, let's see here. Oh man, let's open these folders back up before I make that same mistake twice. Okay. There we go. What? What exactly? Yeah. Whoopsies! Sorry, guys. It like scared me a little bit. Okay. Now we got that. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and let's resave this now. We're gonna save this as 15. Yep. Cheese. Oh, jeez, Rick. That's what I mean. All right. All right. Let's continue on forward. Yeah. Let's what were we gonna do? Oh, okay. Let's fix her. Let's fix her cloth now. All right. Clean this up because this is definitely very, very not good. You know what we're gonna do actually with this? I'm actually gonna just go ahead and here. Back this up for a second. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna Z remesh it. Alright, let's see if we can smooth some of this down and reshape this backside. Okay, so you see how you have this pole that's happening right here? And I actually want to get this nice and cleaned up, so I'm actually going to use Z Remesher Guide. So BZR. I actually want that to kind of flow that way. Let's try it again. There we go. So that's a good way to correct that edge flow. Move that down a little bit more. This right here, I want to do. Go a little bit more thigh here. Down. According to the concept. Go, kind of smooth that in that area. On a serious note, going back to an anime brush, you guys, if you guys broke up your base meshes, and I actually might do this, break up my base mesh into body parts, and then from there just create an IMM brush. It's an easy way to get a kind of humanoid, IMM brush really quick. The thought of thoughts. Okay. We need to correct the kind of edge flow a little bit, so I'm going to push that more down. Go. Now notice my cloth is only single-sided geometry right now. I'm not trying to work with double-sided geometry. I feel like that's a little bit messy when it comes to dealing with cloth. I've tried it before, it just doesn't work out well. So if you're working with cloth, you're having issues and it's double-sided, just work with single-sided geometry. You should have an easier time with that. Okay. Now what I want to do is actually get this edge flow going a little bit more. What we're going to do is come back with that Z remesher. Z remesher guide. I'm actually going to tell it that I want that to flow that way. Like that. Way. Down. Same. Provides a little bit more control. I got a couple poles, but we can actually clean that up. If you get some topology, like for the most part, this is kind of nice. I like that. I'm actually going to take this edge right here. Back that up right there. Actually get rid of this one. Let's go to delete. do it. That's not how I want to do it. From here, let's go to extrude. We'll go snap the surface. Kind of replace that, didn't I? Yeah. Got it. What I want to do. You know, it may not be that bad. Let's actually try something. Okay. That's not too terrible. We can leave that pole there. That's fine. As long as I get it flowing the way I want it to, which I'm actually having some pretty good results with it, so I'll take it. Luckily for 3D printing, we don't have to worry about our topology. It just has to do what we want it to do. And so good enough is going to be working pretty well. We'll smooth that part down and then lift up this whole part like that. Yeah, there we go. There we go. If you guys are practicing for the Sculpt-off, definitely practice good enough. And topology is not going to matter. Okay, so don't stress all night about topology. Trust me, it's not gonna help. So go ahead and call this do nothing. Okay, that's a little bit better. Just a couple supporting edge loops. Give me the results that I want. Good. Just kind of close to her body. Or that we have a little bit more natural wrinkle flow happening. There we go. That's a little bit better. A little bit more swooping action happening. Okay. Work on this part right here. I feel like this is a little much. To kind of showcase what I'm going to be doing real quick so you guys can see it. When we finally get to the point where I'm going to be capping this off, how I recommend you guys cap off things that are not going to be necessarily seen, then I'll actually show you here in a sec. Good way to do it. Now, if you want to 3D print that kind of cloth, you need to give it volume, or does it work in this kind of plane shape? No, you're going to want to give it volume for sure. The reason why I don't have volume on it right now is because if I was working with double-sided topology, then I would actually be tugging and pulling and creating thin spots, where thin or thick spots, depending on what's going on. With here, once I'm satisfied with this sleeve, so like let's say I'm going to finalize the sleeve just for tutorial purposes, okay? Let's say I'm happy with this 100% and I'm good to make finalize. So I'd actually, at this point, just go ahead and turn off dynamic, okay? And then I would give it volume myself. Now, if I had things set to scale, then what I'd end up doing, and this is how I would do it, is I'd actually kind of, once I have things set to scale, I can either figure in how thick I want that to be, or I'll just cap it. So for example, like let's say I just want to cap it. That's what I'm really going to recommend for the most part. So I'm going to come here onto this flat surface, and I'm going to go ahead and do extrude. I'm going to extrude inwards so that I have this kind of shape right there. Hey, what's up next, Nox? Okay, and I'm going to go to, well, I have under display properties, I'm going to turn off double, and I'm going to hit flip because I extruded inwards. So here's what I recommend that you guys would do. I'm actually going to go ahead and grab this section right here. I'm actually going to end up grabbing this internal shape, okay? I'm going to grab this internal shape, and I'm actually going to delete this inside. So far, to recap, I went ahead and I created a double-sided geometry with the thickness being the same, and then I was able to, with this being a separate polygroup, separate what I don't want and delete that. Now what I would end up doing... Actually, let's come back here real quick. I just backed up. Make sure I delete. You want really good, clean edge flows as much as possible. Another way that you could do it is just hit group by normals, and then with the select lasso, just deselect some of those edges on the inside, and then hit auto groups. Select that, and then delete hidden. That's another way of doing it. But then what I would recommend that we do here is just go ahead and say close holes. And this will cap it. So now this will actually, the thin spot here, right? We'd have to just make sure that this part right here is perfectly fine. But with it being capped, now I don't have to worry about how thin this fabric is, because I'll just paint that. I'll paint that cap black, and it will be perfectly fine. But if you needed an entire, you needed the sleeve to be completely thin all the way through, right? Let's say you capped it back here, or you actually want that to be flimsy because you're printing it out of rubber or something, then I would just, once I'm done designing it and shaping it, then I would give it double-sided geometry, just like this. Does that make sense? Hopefully that answers your question. But when you're working with cloth, it is just easier to work with single-sided geometry until you're happy, because it's not really going to matter too, especially when you're adding wrinkles. If you're adding wrinkles on geometry that's really thin, then you could actually be causing holes, or the topology could be kind of compressing and breaking on itself. And then when you try to make it final, you end up breaking it, or it doesn't weld itself correctly, and just it creates a lot more problems. So it's best just to keep it single-sided as much as possible. But great question, by the way, I have to say. That was a great question. Okay, actually going to come here real quick. I'm going to... Actually going to... I think our arm is too much of a 90-degree angle, so I'm actually going to kind of open that up a little bit more. With this, we can rotate that a little, like that. Yeah, I think it's a little bit closer to the concept that way. Smooth that down. That's too much of a smooth. Never smooth at 100%. Never good for your health. Yeah, hopefully that answered your question. If you need me to elaborate a bit more, I definitely can. Right. And it's already 7:15? That's crazy. We need to elongate some of this here. He has some pretty long hair. Okay, let's also auto group it. And let's actually change it. That was really helpful, thank you. That thing you said about clipping and moving, that was happening to me. Yeah, absolutely. It happens so much. See, I'm actually noticing too, like, just with her hair, you can see here just like how crazy this could be. And it's like it's super thin, you know. So I'm gonna have to give this some length or some thickness when I finally get done with it. And one of the ways I could do that is actually just do group by normals. If you have something that is double-sided that you need to give length, then group by normals, and then go ahead and just extrude, and then just hold shift. And that will give you a little bit more length as well. That way, you are having any issues. And this is one way you can kind of help correct that a little bit. That way, just get a little bit more thicker result. So it's more easy to do that. More easy to do it in that way to place it. Yep, absolutely. It's way easier to do it with single-sided, and then once you have that all set in stone, yeah, and it's a lot easier. At least in my opinion. Especially since, too, you got to think, when you're prepping for 3D print, you're not always going to know exactly how thick something needs to be until you go to prep it for the printer, and then you're like, oh, what the heck, man? It's too thin, or I thought it would be thicker than that. Happened to the best of us. There we go. Yeah, so now her hair's a lot thicker. And a little bit more length. Nice. Let's actually auto group it one more time. Isolate. Yeah. As you can see here, right, as I'm pulling this up, as I go to take my move brush and pull it up, you can just see that collapse on each other. So, actually going to use the gizmo here for this part. Pull that up a little. Soften it. Go. Getting to the point, guys. We're going to start needing to detail this bad boy. Awesome. All right. Instead of noodling for the rest of the time, like I tend to do sometimes, let's save it and let's move on. And now we're gonna build. Her belt. This little knot thing right here. Now I could build the entire thing with the knot itself, or I could just kind of cheat it a little bit, which is what I think I'm gonna do actually to save myself a bit of grief. but I can kind of cheat it and actually just get some tubes wrapped around, and then I can make this knot thing and then place that individually, because we're only going to see this one section right here. So this is a beauty part about sculpting different features like this, is that we don't always need to have it be the thing it needs to be. It just needs to look like the thing it's supposed to. So ideally, this would just be a piece of string that gets threaded within itself, and then it comes out the other side, right? And then that's how it gets looped on. And that pattern would actually repeat all the way around, which is pretty cool. But we're not going to build it 100% that way. We're going to kind of cheat it a little. Thank you for telling me about my question. It's hard to express my thoughts in English. No worries. Great work. Make nice tutorials. Aw, dude. Cheers from Argentina. Dude, absolutely, man. No worries. Manuel, I appreciate the question, and I'm glad that I was able to help. IR, what drawing screen do you use? Wait, what drawing screen? Like what tablet, or what was that drawing thing I was using? Hello, Yankee 3D. Welcome in. I use a Cintiq 22 HD Pro Wacom tablet because I could. That's really it. Like, you don't need it. And the thing I'm using, tablet. Okay, and the other thing is Epic Pen. Yeah, because I could. I like it. I'm 6'4". My wingspan is huge, so it works for me. But by all means, you do not need one. If you have $2.5 grand sitting around with nothing to do, then yeah. Question me, it's a screen and you draw on it. Right, yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's do this. So, come here real quick. Boop. You know what I mean? I know what you mean, Jelly Bean. Yep. I questioned you. Okay, so also too, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm going to show you something that I like to do a lot when I want to finalize certain pieces of cloth. So you can see here how I hit D. So I'm using dynamic thickness. It's a great way if you want to visualize what that cloth would look like that thick, but you don't want to deal with it. But I don't want to finalize this way, because I would probably create holes in the mesh. So I actually want to cap this so it also make a really good cutting section, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off dynamic thickness. I'm going to turn off double. And then I'm going to go ahead and just do close holes. Boom. Right? So let's do that. Close holes one more time. Perfect. Now what we're going to do, we're going to crease polygray because that's what we do around here. And then I'm going to go ahead and Z-remesh with the exact same topology. I get a little bit cleaner topology here. And now I'm going to build this rope thing, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to take select lasso, and I'm going to pick this one right here, and I'm going to make that a different group. I'm going to take this one right here, make that a different group. Okay. Now I'm going to crease it officially. I'm going to duplicate it. Oh no, don't do that. If you hit Control-Shift-D on a closed folder, it'll duplicate the whole folder, so be careful with that. Alright, I'm just wanting to duplicate this tool. I'm going to select this, and then I'm going to delete hidden. Now we can back this up here. We don't need this anymore. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to frame mesh, okay? So I'm going to go to stroke. I'm going to go to curve functions. And I'm actually going to go ahead and... Actually, you know what? Let's just do the one. Yeah, delete hidden. Let's do the one. So stroke, frame mesh, and just crease edges. I'm going to frame these crease edges. Crease it. There we go. You kidding me? All right, let's do border instead. There we go. So we're going to frame mesh border, and then I'm actually going to take the curve multi-2 brush, Bring that brush down. Bloop. And I'm going to get that. So that way, it's completely wrapping around her the way I want it to wrap around. Okay? Touch that part right there. Go. Perfect. And I want to finalize that. Perfect, right there. Now I'm going to select what I want to keep, which is those right there. I'm going to go ahead and delete hidden. Grab this. I'm actually going to bring these two closer together. Bring them closer together so they look like they're one piece. Just that. Right. Beautiful. All right. And now what we're going to do is create that knot. And luckily, it looks pretty fun. So let's create the knot first by itself. So it's a little bit easier to work on. So let's come here, just delete all. If you're like me and you have a bunch of stuff on the side, if you delete all, it saves your computer a ton of stuff. And let's go ahead and insert, not paste, insert, please, a ring. There we go. Delete that. Rotate this around. Okay, cool. Scale that down like such. Go. We can end up squishing that. And that lazy stuff. Not a big fan of that lazy mouse with the lasso. This is just my personal thing. I'm gonna soften this mask, and I'm actually gonna kind of bend this here, bring this down. Okay. So it looks like it's pulled that way a little bit. Scale that. So it looks just like that. Go. Now what I'm going to do is actually just insert a cylinder 3D. And we're just going to scale that down. Such. Again, so we're just going to make it look like the thing that we need it to look like. Really it. Especially since we'll be printing it, so this will just be a lot easier to work with. Okay. Go and scale it down a little bit more. Gonna smooth that down. Let's take off for the night, early morning. You're rocking it. It looks really freaking awesome. Thanks, dude. I appreciate it, man. So close to the finish line. Yeah, absolutely, right? Oh, I'm so excited. Well, have a good night, dude. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it, as always. All right. I'm going to kind of smooth that down. Now what we're going to do is I have a shortcut for it, but I'm going to go to deformation and inflate. And we're just going to make sure that that's a pretty big inflate there. Go. And then one of the things we're going to do is actually tuck this right back in to itself, like such. Okay. And I'm going to mask off this area, soften it a bit. Reason why is because it looks like it's overlapping. So we want to give that illusion of it overlapping. Here, soften that a bunch. I'm going to bring that up, rotate that around. That back down. Move the whole thing in. Smooth it, smooth it. Go. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and just merge this down real quick. So it's just like that. And then what we can do, just real quick, let's just make an IMM brush. So create, insert, a new, beautiful. You have a brush. Okay. And come in here like such. Go. Now we can place these wherever, however we want, and make it look like the thing that we want it to look like. Really just like that. I am, welcome in by the way, what I am doing is I'm actually making this Demon Slayer statue. And right now we're actually working on her belt that goes around like such. And clear that up. Then we could just kind of repeat this whole process. Right? We can do this a couple times. That way it looks like the thing that we want it to look like. Really quick and effective way. Hint, 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 if you're doing the Sculpt-off. Making stuff like this really quick and simple. The way to do it. Oh yeah, we're going to be printing this afterwards for sure. Yep. And there we go. That part right there. And then this is a yellowish belt. Right? So let's actually go ahead and give it that color. Or what we could do, you know, just get the proper color, Z color, drag off screen, grab the color we want, set color. Perfect. That color, close that down. Grab this, fill object, switch, grab this, and fill object. All right, now I'm going to show you how I'm going to do the squares that she has on there. Let's actually save this. Okay, one of the things that we could do real quick is we can actually save that brush out. So let's go ahead and save as Demon Slayer statue, and then we'll call this the Netsugo belt brush. Oh, perfect. Yeah, I want to start modeling. I just downloaded Blender. Nice, man. Dude, absolutely. You got to start somewhere. If you want, ZBrush has a free trial. If you're really into sculpting, ZBrush has a free trial, 30 days for full ZBrush. Also, too, they have ZBrush Core Mini, which is a great free introduction program. So if you're really knowing that you're enjoying the sculpting and want to give ZBrush a try, definitely check that out. It's a great way to do it. You got to start somewhere, man. Totally. All right, let's go ahead and grab Move Brush. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this this paint here. So I just want these squares. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and use the Z Modeler brush. And I'm going to just start pretty much... You know what we should do? What should we do, Ian? This is what we should do. Watch this. Okay. I'm actually going to delete. Oh, don't do that. You're going to ruin it. Okay. You know what? They don't have to be fully squared. Let's do... I know. Add this one here. Okay. I'm going to add a few more. So let's go multi-edge loop. And yeah, keep polygroup, but let's actually uncrease all for now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. 10 divided by 3 doesn't really work. So let's do 8, 9. Okay. I'm actually going to get rid of... Okay. Go ahead and go delete hidden. Grab that loop. Grab that loop. Nope, grab that loop. Yeah, grab that loop. Delete hidden, close holes. Okay. Go. And what we're going to do is crease ball gateways. Hobby time! Yay! Is it more about 3D character than sculpting? Because I've been using Unreal Engine for a while now. So ZBrush does primarily sculpting, but you could do anything in ZBrush. You can, when it comes to 3D modeling creation, you can hard surface in ZBrush. You can concept character design in ZBrush. You can sculpt environments in ZBrush. There's a sculpt. It's primarily a sculpting program for sure, but there are a lot of hard surface features and tools within the program that really do just kind of make it its own. And it is an industry standard. So if you're trying to get into the 3D character designing, or even if you're trying to get into environment, doesn't really matter what you're trying to do. If you're trying to get into the industry, when it comes to creating, ZBrush is a standard within it. There are obviously other programs as well that are in the industry, and there's a lot that you could do with a lot of programs that are out there. I say stick with what you can when you're learning that stuff for sure. But if you definitely want to up your game and get into the industry, and it is evolving around 3D modeling, ZBrush is definitely the program to take. So, yeah, doesn't matter how you start. All the skills that you learn in other programs can be transferred into ZBrush. You just have to learn the UI. Just like any program, once you learn the UI, it's a whole lot easier to start designing and get in there. And that's actually why it's really cool to try, if you want to get more into just like sculpting, then the ZBrush Core Mini is perfect for that. And they can really it's free and you can get on there really, really quick. And then they have Core, which is not free, but I think it's 150 bucks. Maybe it's 180, but it's really affordable. And you can do a lot in there. So, okay, cool. Definitely check it out. Awesome. If you have any questions, this is the place to be. Definitely subscribe to Pixologic, YouTube, Twitch, because tons of artists, not just myself, are here kind of showcasing how we use it. So, and that's what's cool, is because we all use it differently. And I think that's what kind of makes the magic of ZBrush, in my opinion. It's one of the things I fell in love with it, that I can do things the way I want to do it. You're not pigeonholed to a certain pipeline. If that makes sense. Like painting, I was going to show you. So the way I'm going to be painting this is actually kind of maybe a little bit of hard knocks, but what I'm going to be doing is actually just essentially masking these elements here because her cloth is kind of checkered pattern. Now, I don't really care if it meets up, so to speak, but as long as I get the parts that work, and this is going to be what I'm trying to say. Was it? Did my almost? That's okay. Doesn't really matter because we're not even going to see that part. Like, that part isn't even going to show. So it doesn't really matter, which is fine. So what we're going to do is actually hover over here, and I'm actually going to go polygroup all. I'm going to touch that, and now it's going to be those polygroups. I'm going to crease Paul Gabry's. I'm going to select this, okay? There we go, yeah. I don't mind that it's slightly checkered, because now I can pick that. And what I can do is turn around and make this red. So we're going to go ahead and fill that. Go up a little bit more. Get that white, fill everything there. Hit that. And then go ahead and talk to me, Goose. Yep, just fill it. Switch. Perfect. Ta-da! There we go. Just like that. That is painted, which is awesome. That's a really fast and efficient way to get a pattern. And again, I'm not going to see that backside at all because that cloth is going to give thickness. But even still, you can kind of see. And boom. Yeah. And pixel painting, yep. You guys like my technical terms? I'm just going to do this. I don't even know the name of it. I'm just going to do this, that, and the other would be good to go. I think that's like 90% of my tutorials. Do this, do that, do this, that, and this is what you get. Are you gonna get the video game of Demon Slayer that is coming soon? I didn't even know there was a video game. You know, oh my gosh, now I have to look this up. I have to look this up. I didn't know there was a video game. And I feel very ashamed that I said that. But yeah, I'll definitely check it out. Oh, that's so awesome. Okay. Now, okay, perfect. I will look that up for sure. I'm actually going to bookmark it right now. Gosh. Do you know what it's coming out on? All right. On every... Oh my gosh. Okay. October 15th! Oh, in 5 days! Nice. Oh, you want my specs? Okay, so the system that I'm running, I'm actually running the Ryzen 5, Ryzen AMD 5, I think it's the 3600 actually. I know I've said 5600, but it's the 3600 chip. And then I have 48 gigs of RAM because RAM's important. I'm running a 500 gigabyte SSD to start up on the system. I want to actually get that upgraded soon because it'll run better. I have the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2080. I haven't felt the need to upgrade my graphics card because what rendering I do doesn't really matter. I don't do super intense renders. However, ZBrush does not depend on your graphics card whatsoever, so there's really no need to have a super powerful one. Just one that works is fine. It's air cooled for now, but I definitely want to get it liquid cooled. But yeah, that's about it. It's in a huge, massive tower. I'm looking over here while I'm talking to you. So yeah, ZBrush is my game. But you know, I didn't know Demon Slayer had a video game coming. And now I feel all right. So yeah, ZBrush is my game. I would probably be considered what some people classify as a ZBrush cowboy, which is because I primarily only use ZBrush, because I only need to use ZBrush. All right, let's get that pink on there a little bit more. Yeah, so you know. So I have two 3D printers. I have an Epax X1 resin printer. It's about the size of the first gen Elgumars, or even the second gen Elgumars. And then I also have a Creality Ender 3 Pro. Had them for a few years. They do great, perfect for prototyping, very affordable, and yeah. All right, guys. So real quick, let's recap what we did. This is where we're at right now. So we finally got to building the box. Awesome. Gosh, like huge. Boop, boop. It's 45. So just kind of recap everything real quick. So yeah, so built the box. Here's the different sizes. Go. We got more color. We also fixed the cloak the way we wanted to. We're definitely going to need to finagle the hair. We definitely want to clean up a little bit more and start finalizing the cloth a lot. We really want to start focusing on getting details put in. Ooh, you know what I didn't do? Let's do this now. I just realized it. I did not put the pocket on his jacket, so let's go ahead and do that now. I said I would, and I did not. So we're actually going to go ahead and use a insert cube for this. Grab this color so that the colors match. I don't know if you guys can hear the music, but I love this song. I say that a lot. Okay, his pocket is actually, it's not like a traditional like pocket as we would see. It actually is kind of flat. So what we're going to do, I'm actually going to go ahead and split unmasked. push down on my keyboard. I'm going to show you guys a little fun trick I use all the time. So I'm going to hit W on the keyboard, and then I'm going to hit Y to bring up the transpose tool. Corner to corner, I'm going to hold Alt in the middle. I'm actually going to bend that. That will allow me get a little bit more of that. Go. Okay, and then I'm going to Dynamesh this so I can clean that up a little bit. Bloop. Back. Apply that Dynamesh, and then we're going to go ahead and smooth that out. Go. That pocket looks like that. Let's actually push it in just a little bit more. Now this is where we could take this cloth real quick. Bring this up. And now we want to actually stuff this pocket with something so that looks like cloth. And we're actually going to give them a nice fold. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to come in here. I'm going to insert a cube 3D. Fill this out just for comfort. Squish this down. Subdivide a few times. Geometry, delete lower, and then I'm going to Dynamesh it. Okay. Then all I'm going to do is actually just take this. I'm going to use the knife brush, a knife curve brush. We're going to cut so we get something like that. Go ahead and fill objects. Scale that down. Okay. Rotate that up a little bit. Control drag. Pocket folds. Right. Takes pride in his handkerchiefs. Chiefs. Take this right here, and we're going to kind of push that in a little bit. You can actually set that down a little bit more. Little details like that just kind of help bring the character to life. Would Matchmaker work on the pocket fold? Probably, yeah. That's actually not too bad. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. You could definitely give it a shot. You know. Yeah. Absolutely, Turbo. Do it. Agreed. And I'm actually pretty satisfied with that, to be honest. I think I actually might stretch it up a little bit. Then the other thing we could do too real quick is actually just kind of... We don't want this to be perfectly edged. Do bevel arc brush. First things first, let's actually... Alright, so here was something. Here's a little tidbit. I want to Dynamesh this. But you see when I Dynamesh it, it breaks it, right? So what we can do is we can go to Geometry, Dynamesh, and hit this little button. That little button, this one right here, it usually is closed. They provided this in the new update, and I promised myself I'd use it more and more and more. But uncheck that button. And when you do and you Dynamesh, it actually Dynameshes that resolution a lot better at smaller parts. But we're going to take this. Nice big brush here. Actually going to go ahead and round these corners off. Like that. Perfect. And then we could take the standard brush And just for real quick, add a couple wrinkle folds real fast. Nothing too crazy, just something to give us the illusion that it's cloth. You can see from that far, that works. There you go. The other thing we could do too, actually, if we wanted to, we actually grab that spot right there. I'm gonna go ahead and keep groups. I'm gonna re-topologize this real fast. And we are almost out of time. If you guys have any other questions, please let me know. Go. What I'm going to do is actually re-topologize this a few times. Go. Half a few. Okay. Then I'm going to subdivide a couple times, and I'm going to project history, which that can be found under subtool, project, and then project history. Oop. Yep, that's totally fine. That way we have something like this. And then what I'm going to use is the transpose cloth brush. Okay, I'm actually going to kind of inflate it a little bit here and there. Just give it a little bit more wrinkle. Light smooth. So if you want some quick wrinkles, that's one way to do it for sure. All right. We got 53. All right, I think that's going to be good for today. Let's actually come here real quick. Want to just see what this skirt will look like with some thickness. So I'm going to go with dynamic subdivision, but we're going to increase that thickness. Yeah, something like that. Perfect. Yeah, yes. That's right, Blue. Oh, awesome. There we go. Again, just the way we can kind of see how this is all going. Go. Nice. Yeah, that's going to be really good. Actually, up here. Oh, hold on. One more thing I want to do. Let's actually turn off dynamic thickness. So I actually want to create some material wrapping around. If we look at the concept, actually see that there's like a nice fold and stuff, almost like the inside folding out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and Control-Shift-D, duplicate that subtool. Okay. And then do the same thing. Let's frame border. So let's go to stroke, frame border. Now there's actually a curve snap flat. Something like that. Is mostly what I want. That right there. Grab that guy. Let's go ahead and delete hidden. So we'll have this here. And for right now, I'm going to go dynamic, thickness. Okay. And now we have this kind of nice border that we can work with going all the way around. And let's say that's a little too small. Back this up. Go, let's do that. Take that curve one more time. Make it a bigger brush. It's too big. Big. Cloth is a mega time saver. Oh yeah, that cloth transpose is amazing for sure. There we go. That's better. Go ahead and delete hidden. There we go. Little bit thicker. We can bring this up here. There we go. Now with this one, also having dynamic thickness, we can kind of tuck this in a little bit. We could play around with how this is set up. Back. A little bit. And if we have something like this where they're kind of like folding on itself a little bit, come up to brush and then go to auto masking, topological, and then you could drop that range a little bit and you could start pulling out geometry kind of collapsing on itself a bit. Push down in areas. I'm sure if that's a little hard to see, but on itself, I'm able to grab a section and pull that, where if I don't have topological turned on and I grab that section, it moves everything. So being able to just come up to brush, topological, I can now grab that one section that's conflicting and be happy with that movement. Bring this up here. Here, topological. There, push it in. Now we have a little bit of trim on there that's coming up, and we'll finesse that a little bit more later, but that's how I'm going to approach that. Actually, what I could do one more time, let's actually take the offset and push it negative. See if I have that on the outside. I want that on the... you know what? We'll play with that later. That'll be something we'll tackle next week. It's kind of folding outwards, so this will be our temporary reminder, and then we'll fix the rest next week. Hey, Mofafa, what's up, dude? All right. Well, that being said, guys, I'm about ready to take off. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. Let's take one more look at our project as we have it. And I'll be posting an update and stuff like that into Discord. But yeah, here is what we got. Just really coming together now, which I'm really excited about. Go ahead and save that real fast. If you guys have been following me through the whole process... oh man, I never show up on time. It's totally cool, dude. Just rewind real quick. You guys have been following me through the whole process. I really just want to leave you with the fact that this stuff takes time. This is a very big project. This isn't a one-off character. Like this is not only characters that everybody will know if they know the show or if they're even familiar with the show. It's based on a concept that's very difficult, and it's two characters interacting not only with themselves, but with the environment. So when you go to sculpt something, whether it be for toys, games, movies, or just because that's what you want to do, just keep in mind that this stuff starts massively in the Valley of the Suck, as a lot of us like Shane Olsen and stuff call it. The Valley of the Suck is a real place. You can get lost there if you're just, really beating yourself up. So take your time. And don't overwhelm yourself. If something's not working, don't be afraid to try something new, or just, save it and replace with a new approach. Never really hurts. So I appreciate all you guys for bearing with me. I know this has been a huge project. And for me personally, to be 100% transparent, I feel like this project has taken forever. So you guys aren't alone if you feel that way. I know personally I've been feeling that way, but it's finally coming together, and I'm really loving how it's coming out. and there's still a lot to do, but now we're getting to the good stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much. See here. Before I go, please have your understudy bookmark different techniques you've used. I'll have to find another study. But definitely, if you're on YouTube, bookmark right now where you're at and scrub through. That's the beauty part. If you guys are subscribed to Pixologic YouTube, which is the place you should be, you'll get to go back and rewatch all this stuff too. Also, before I bounce, I just wanted to let you guys know two things. One, please join me in hanging out with my Discord and stuff. Links in the bottom of the link I just shared. We do a lot of fun stuff there. A lot of artists come in and hang out. We have a lounge where you can come in and ask for help, give feedback to other people if you feel that it's appropriate to do so. Like, however you feel, just come in and be part of the community, hang out. It's a great place to be. And also, if you guys, gonna plug one other thing too, which is Stylist League. If you're on YouTube, type in Stylist League and subscribe, because I'm hanging out with Mike Thompson there, and it's awesome. We're sculpting anime there too. Fun stuff. We do that Fridays for the next couple Fridays, so please join. Also, in the Discord, I'm going to be showcasing. I'm going to be doing a live stream very soon this week. I'll let you guys know when that's going to be. It'll be more towards the evening US time, but it'll be on YouTube, not on Twitch. It'll be on YouTube because I want people to be able to research it, and I'll share that information, so that'll forever be on my YouTube channel. So that link I gave you, follow it to my YouTube channel, subscribe there. That way you'll know. And this is going to be tips and tricks on how to handle the Sculpt-off. So, all right. The Stylist League, yep. Ikisi's, yep. That's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. In fact, hold on one second. I'll drop a link to that as well. You guys definitely want to join me next Friday on that. Here we go. Bloop. I was there last Friday, so check it out. See what we're doing over there. And then I'll be there next Friday and the Friday after that, which will be fun. So, anyway, guys, all right, that is it. Thank you guys very much. Join me every Sunday here at Pixologic at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or Pacific whatever time. LA time. Los Angeles, California. That's where I'm at. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to you later before I embarrass myself further. Bye, bye. Bye, everybody!